Steve, we'll start with you. What threats do you see having the biggest impact in the next 12 to 24 months, which I know is probably a pretty tough question to answer considering the year we just had or are having. But maybe you can talk about what trends you're currently seeing that might inform what that looks like.
Sure. Thanks, Eric. It won't be like the dinosaurs coming back or anything like that to eat us all. Well, I don't know. 2020 is not over yet, but I think the biggest threat is going to be a lot of the international and domestic crime rings coming in into the U.S. Jim had mentioned earlier about 90% of these, a lot of these threats, these cyber threats are coming in from Nigeria. Those are, I think, full volume, like just volume based on volume. The ones that are those strongest are coming in from mainland China, are coming in from Russia. We're seeing those that they don't have a solid policing of the internet. They don't have a solid policing of just the network overall. That's going to be the biggest portion of it. And I think what's happening now is they're taking advantage of people that are working from home. They're out of their element. They're out of their office. They're probably working from the kitchen table with the kids in the background and the dog barking and things like that during COVID. They're out of their element, and they're also probably at a point in time in their company where money's tight. They want to believe every email that comes across is a deal. Every telephone call they get is going to be a prospective and strong client, and that every deal that's coming across is going to be valid. And you've got to be I don't want to turn you into a cynic or anybody into a cynic, but I want you to be aware of what potentials are out there and around the corner. So I want to, not a cynic, I want to turn you into like a trust but verify kind of a person. That's from a business perspective. I'll let the cyber piece, talk itself and let the systems do what they do. But even like I said, even the CFOs of multi-billion-dollar companies are getting taken advantage of. Imagine what a small business or mid-sized business owner who does maybe payables and receivables, him or herself. Maybe they don't have a 6-7 person finance staff. People are asked to do more with less and out of their element. So I think that's what's going to happen is that people are going to be taken advantage of because they don't have their current work environment that they've always been comfortable in. So, and communication. So.
It's very logical. You painted a picture that's 2 kids, dog barking. That's actually what happens here. Anytime a package arrives, my dog barks, so it's hard to focus when there's just chaos happening. But I like what you said about trust but verify. I think that's fantastic. The last one of these we had done, I wanted to throw my phone in like because I'm terrified now. So certainly you don't have to go put your head in the sand. I like that approach is really good. Thank you. Isaac, I'll have you take a stab at that question as far as what you see coming down the pike in the next 12 to 24 months and maybe what trends you're seeing now to inform that.
For sure. It's going to be more and more sophisticated and automated of what we've been seeing now. I'll just make the point one more time. Email is not secure. Since the 90s, we've been fighting spam and email. I worked in UWM in 1997, and we were telling people the same thing back, don't click on links, right? And so here we are 23 years later, still saying the same thing, right? So we have to move away from it, right? So we're going to see more automated spear phishing, more ransomware, attacks directed at that are much more targeted, right? Like what we've been seeing now with really, really high automation. I'm not saying we're going to see more of this, but it's definitely out there now. It's something new. People are laying cell phones or sending devices into over UPS or FedEx into a business that then automatically starts trying to hack the wireless network and get in that way, right? We're seeing all sorts of things like that. But here's something that has come out a couple of times today that I think we have to focus on for a moment. Where are these attacks coming from? Right? We've heard China, parts of Africa. I've seen a lot of Eastern Europe, a ton of Russia. And you got to ask yourself the question, does your office in Milwaukee need to be accessible from every computer in Russia or in China? And the answer is probably no. Should anybody on the planet be able to try to connect into your VPN and exploit it, Right, and so there's this thing called geofencing that we can do now. It's built into almost all the modern, firewalls and VPN appliances, where we can say, hey, only people from the United States can talk to this thing. It's not perfect. It's certainly not an answer to all these problems, and there's a million different ways to get around it. But it's just layering up on these security defenses, right, and really understanding who needs access to what.
The layered approach is a really great. That's what SWICKtech does. That's how we've gone to market with what we're doing and how we've had so much success with preventing a lot of these things. So especially the geofencing thing. And I think you can even make that tighter, if I'm not mistaken. Like maybe I can only access this if I'm here, if I'm this person from this machine, much like an app store on an iPhone or something. So a very, very good point, Isaac. Thank you so much. Jim, we'll move it over to you as far as what you think some of those threats are when we look out to the next 12 to 24 months and the trends that you're seeing from your seat.
Sure. I actually want to echo what Steve said. And at the BBB, we are not tech experts, but we deal with small businesses and we deal with people. So it's the human element. It's people working from home, pulled out of their element, who aren't going to be able to walk down the hallway and talk to the boss. They don't really pick up the phone and call people anymore. They're isolated. People are working, they're working hard, but their systems are out. So they're more open to getting that fake IT company contacting them saying, oh, we just signed up with your company and we're doing all your IT work now. Let me in your computer. Or actually we're finding one, of course, you didn't think you were going to hear anything about sex today in the cybersecurity panel, but sextortion cases are ramped up hundreds of % over previous years. We're finding people are at home, either on their own computer or with the company computer, and they will get an email saying, we monitored your computer, we know you visited these pornographic sites, we turned on your camera on your laptop or your phone or whatever it is, and unless you give us money or give us access or whatever it is, we're going to send these images to your company and we're going to send them to your spouse and we're going to send them all over the place. So the FBI has been informed of this. We're getting reports in Wisconsin and all over the country. And I believe as all internet scams are increasing, the more and more we do online, if it's online sales, if it's government imposter scams, they're all over out there, and we think there's going to be more extortion of individuals, and they're going to be more apt to fall for it if they're at home, not under the strict confines of the office environment.
Yeah, the leaking of information is something I recently learned about when it comes to like data ransomware. So your data is encrypted and you have to pay to get it back, and that's something we've all heard about and are used to hearing about, but what happens if they start to threaten to release and leak that data? That's a hostage situation in some, at least in my mind. So that's it puts you in a different position to act in a desperate kind of manner, which again, they're preying on exploits and weakness and fear and all these other things and time. So very fascinating use case. And no, I didn't think we were going to hear about that today, but it's part of the topic. Cybersecurity Awareness Month has a very wide spectrum that goes all the way to the end consumer too, and not just businesses. So thank you for sharing that.